Welcome to Introduction to the CEFR for Teaching. This basic level course will help you to understand the fundamentals of the CEFR and why it is being used in Vietnam. It will help you to distinguish between levels, especially those levels you need for your teaching, and to use that information in your teaching and assessment. The CEFR has become very popular around the world in language teaching and learning. So what is it? Why is it so popular? What is it used for? How can the CEFR help you in your teaching, learning, assessment, and your own language proficiency? We'll explore these questions and more in this course. So let's get started. I'm Thu Hằng and this is Long Biên.
Hi.
We are from University of Languages and International Studies, VNU Hanoi. Now, many people have never heard of CEFR, so do you know what CEFR stands for?
Yes, I do. Common European Framework of Reference. Is that it?
It's right. It's a set of language proficiency descriptors published in 2001 by the Council of Europe that are being used around the world to help guide language teaching, curriculum, and materials development and assessment.
Assessment? But I think we already have IELTS and TOEFL or TOEIC. Why don't we just use one of them?
You're right. We used to have different ways of describing levels of language learning and assessment, like IELTS or TOEFL. In Vietnam, we also had chứng chỉ tiếng Anh ABC, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's one big problem. Do you know what it is, Bien?
Like if I have chứng chỉ C, what IELTS band score is it equivalent to?
Right. It was very difficult to compare these language tests with each other before. However, despite all of these differences, there is one thing that is the same with all languages. That is, language learning can be organized into 3 levels: basic or beginner, intermediate, and advanced. The CEFR was created to make sense of language learning no matter what language being studied. It's a common reference for different languages.
Mm-hmm.
In 2001, the Council of Europe published the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages, Learning, Teaching, and Assessment. It aimed to provide a common basis for the elaboration of language syllabuses, curriculum guidelines, examinations, textbooks, etc. across Europe.
Okay, I said, but what does the CEFR have to do with Vietnam?
Now, do you know the government decision 1400?
Yes, as far as I know, it was issued in 2008 and it called for the renovation of foreign language teaching and learning throughout Vietnam.
Right. Before CEFR, many of our students used to learn English by doing exercises, and teachers mostly focused on correcting their grammar mistakes. As a result, many of them couldn't use English for their work or study.
I see. It's such a pity. They spent a lot of time and effort learning English for so many years.
That's why the government decision 1400 emphasized language use for communication and building communicative competence for regional and international integration. Vietnam's khung năng lực ngoại ngữ, or KNLNN, is a 6-level scale based on the CEFR. It is used from primary school to secondary school to university level to teachers to set proficiency expectations.
As you can see, CEFR has 3 broad levels: beginner, intermediate, and advanced. And it is then divided into 6 smaller levels, from A1 the lowest to C2 the highest.
Yes.
The KNLNN is the same, but it uses numbers from 1 to 6 instead of the labels A, B, and C.
Right.
Do you know what level is required for primary school, lower secondary and upper secondary school students?
Yes, I know. A1 for primary, A2 for lower secondary, and B1 for upper secondary students, right? For teachers, the requirements are higher. B1 for primary, B2 for lower secondary, and C1 for upper secondary school teachers. It means teachers should be at least 2 levels higher than their students.
That must be a challenge for our teachers, don't you think?
Yeah.
But it is also an opportunity for you as teachers to improve your competence. And this course on CFR, along with other courses, will help you with that.
Here are the descriptors from global scale of the CEFR. You can see the general description of learners' language abilities in 6 given levels, but you don't have to worry. You will learn about this in detail in Module 2. In the next lecture, you'll learn about CEFR approaches, its benefits, implications for teaching, so stay tuned.